Korean, Japanese, English, and Uzbek located here at this hall at the corner, so you may approach and ask for headphones. Feel free to be closer to the stage. There are a lot of empty seats, so you may take them. Once again, welcome to Shared Services and Offshore Outsourcing Conference. One. one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shared Services and Offshore Outsourcing Conference. We're about to start in 10 minutes, so please welcome to take your seats, preferably closer to the stage. We're starting in 10 minutes. Once again, we have translators, Korean, Japanese, English, and Uzbek. You can approach this corner at this hall and take your headphones. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Shared Services and Offshore Outsourcing Conference. We are starting in about 5 minutes, so please welcome, take your seats closer to the stage. For translators in Korean, Japanese, English, and Uzbek, you may approach the corner of this hall and take your headphones. Thank you. Once again, welcome. How did we get here? Only about 3-4 decades ago, this was the land prone to be dependent on extractive industries, commodity monoculture, and limited industrialization. But today, as we stand here, presenting one of the biggest, most important ICT events of this region, we represent one of the most dynamically evolving economies of the world. Youth-driven innovation and entrepreneurial spirit. So from rural areas to world-class innovation, from slow-paced industrialization to rapid digitalization. How do we get from there to here? That, ladies and gentlemen, is not an accident. Over the past few years, we've rewritten the rule book of what it means to do business in this country. It's the result of reforms, deliberate and forward-looking. Reforms designed to make Uzbekistan not just a participant, but a leader in the global outsourcing industry. Today, the world sees Uzbekistan a thriving country with powerful young workforce and freedom of taxes. Uzbekistan is no longer an emerging market. We are emerging leaders. But today, it's more than just a milestone. It's about future. A future where Uzbekistan plays an important role in the global outsourcing and investment. We are not only opening doors for you, we're breaking them down. We're showing the world that Uzbekistan is ready to take up on the biggest challenges and deliver the most innovative solutions. And the video that you're about to behold right now shows the very essence of this country. A nation ready to connect, collaborate, and lead the future together with you. Please welcome.
Who are we? We are a strategic location connecting Europe and Asia. We're 37 million people, the largest in Central Asia. We are 60% of the population under 30. We're 6% GDP growth rate. We are the 4th most affordable city in the world. We are 9th the safest country. We're 22nd lowest internet cost. We are a country with 99% of internet coverage. With 99.99% literacy rate. We are 5 million English speakers. We're over than 100,000 IT talents. We're more than 2,200 tech-based enterprises. We are more than 800 IT export-oriented companies. We are more than 550 foreign tech companies. We are a 0% tax rate for IT companies. We are fully committed to fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. We are a new outsourcing destination.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Uzbekistan. My name is Umida Rakhmatova. I'm the Chief Manager of Service Expert Development Department at IT Park Uzbekistan, and I'm honored to be your host today. Over the next few hours, you're going to hear from our experts, industry leaders, and successful entrepreneurs who will share their insights and experiences with you. And as we officially open the ceremony, I encourage you to look beyond the stereotypes, beyond the old narratives, and see the real Uzbekistan here, a nation of ambition and limitless potential. Now, let me tell you something. You know why why ICT in Uzbekistan is among the fastest growing sectors of the economy? It's a will. Strong political will and unconditional government support. Behind every success story, there's always a leader. A visionary who sees beyond today's challenges and who can envision tomorrow's possibilities. And the man that you're about to welcome today, right now on the stage, is that leader. This is the architect behind the entire digital transformation of this country. So please welcome the Minister of the Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Mr. Sherzad Shermatov.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, dear guests. I'm very honored to welcome you here again. Actually, all of this is happening due to the long-term political support of our president, His Excellency President Mirziyoyev, because when we were starting everything back in 2017, when country was a very closed country, we didn't even have a convertibility. We unfortunately had a bad history of forced labor in our fields, and all the people were, instead of going schools, to going to the cotton picking, etc. So if you Google about Uzbekistan, you can see some of those bad stories. But thanks to the political will of His Excellency President Mirziyoyev, and thanks to the visionary leadership, within a very historically short period of time, we have reached a situation where we are talking about potential $5 billion of IT outsourcing export from Uzbekistan. And last year, it was about more than $500 million total IT and communications exports. Out of that, 344 million is ICT-enabled services. And for these last 2 years, we see tremendous growth of companies with foreign capital. The number of companies with foreign capital, I think, increased about 20 times. And it's good to see that so many of you are already here, whom some of you we have met in our offshore outsourcing conferences in the United States, in other countries. And I'm very glad to hear that some of you already registered your business, opened up your offices, and started exporting from Uzbekistan. And I would like to ask all other remaining participants of today's event to follow these steps. It's very easy. We have a very dedicated team of professionals in IT Park of Uzbekistan, and it is the right time to be in Uzbekistan. It is the right time to open your offices, and it is the right time to export from Uzbekistan. And you see, Uzbekistan is opening up not only to the traditional markets, our partners like Russia, Russian-speaking countries, or Chinese, etc. But today we see lots of other countries, South Korea, Japan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. So all those companies who are trying to expand your business in those countries as well, you can think of potential synergies, opening your delivery centers in Uzbekistan and utilizing so many young emerging talents to expand your business from here. So our main message is we help to grow your business with us. Once again, welcome to Uzbekistan, and please enjoy being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shermatov, for your remarkable insights. Thank you so much. It's an honor to hear them always. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will turn our attention to the transformation of Uzbekistan into a global outsourcing destination. In the upcoming presentation, you'll hear how and why Uzbekistan has already matured into a prime destination for outsourcing and investment. Our country's ICT sector is booming, with the focused efforts being made to position the country as the go-to hub. And you'll hear the factors that make us so. The talents, the business environment, the supportive infrastructure, everything. And presenting these ideas is going to be Ms. Makhliyo Muhsinova, the Service Expert Director of IT Park Uzbekistan, a young woman, a pioneer who's been with IT Park since the very first steps, whose strategy and leadership has been instrumental in guiding and transforming the park over the years. So now, please give a warm welcome, Ms. Makhliyo Muhsinova.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Uzbekistan. Welcome to the Shared Services and Offshore Outsourcing Conference. It's a really honor to stand here and present Central Asia as a new emerging outsourcing and IT hub. To become an IT hub, government of Uzbekistan has realized the couple of initiatives. It was committed to transform the country. And everything has started in 2017, when the government of Uzbekistan decided to change trajectory of the government strategy and transform all social and economic spheres. Transforming from agrarian state to service-oriented country with diversified and modern economy required a lot of efforts. But today, we have the first results of the policy of the country. And we have the first results as an outsourcing destination. As you can see on the slides behind me, there are 46 countries who trust Uzbekistan. And founders from these countries established their businesses in Uzbekistan. Now we have more than 2,200 members at IT Park, serving internationally UK, USA, European countries, MENA region, Asia, and others. Interesting to mention that previously, 2 years ago, the main share of the export was to the United States. But now, today, considering the initiatives to diversify services provided from Uzbekistan and raising awareness about the country across the world, we have 44% of export to the United States, 22% of exports to the UK and European market, 40% exports to Asian and MENA market. It's a result of all initiatives realized by the government, together with IT Park Uzbekistan. One of the initiatives in order to increase awareness was organizing international events. And only this year we have organized 20 international local and international events. And these events resulted us to have more than 1,800 interested companies to open their outsourcing businesses in Uzbekistan. And one more interesting fact is that every month this year, we had more than 100 new member companies. It means that the scope of export in the country increases. So we always work on developing of our programs and strengthening our incentives. And we always receive feedbacks from companies. And now I want to share with you the 7 main reasons why companies choose Uzbekistan as an offshore outsourcing location. They include strong infrastructure, government support, ease of doing business, cost efficiency, and talents. Now we will move to each of them. Often, when we organize international events abroad or participate on some exhibitions, companies ask us, where is Uzbekistan? Is it safe? But when they come, everyone, each of them has confirmed that Uzbekistan is safe. Uzbekistan is developing. Uzbekistan is emerging market as a service provider. As you can see, Starting from 2017, a lot of reforms have been done, and we have the first results. An international community now sees everything, or all over all our efforts, and as it's shown on the slides behind me, foreign trade turnover increased more than twice, and FDI inflows increased seven times, almost 7 times. This shows that Uzbekistan is on right way, that international companies, international investors believe us. So the next reason of choosing Uzbekistan as a new outsourcing location for the international businesses is government policy and support. By having strategy to become service provider, the establishment of IT Park laid down in 2019 to craft the world's best conditions for offshore outsourcing. Starting from this time, more than 25 legal acts were initiated in order to create additional incentives, additional supporting programs for outsourcing business in Uzbekistan. And now we have our strong aim to become globally known service provider and have until 2030 5 billion experts and at least 300,000 IT talents working for our member companies. The next reason that mentioned by companies for choosing the Uzbekistan as outsourcing location is infrastructure development. So IT Park has its own branches across the Republic. Doesn't matter where you want to open the business. We will support you and we will be with you. Because each region has own team dedicated to help outsourcing companies to grow through Uzbekistan. And maybe you have seen, maybe you will see tomorrow or today, at the first stage, the IT Park complex was built, but it's only beginning. We will have the same comfortable and the same Tier 1 level offices across the Republic. And you can enjoy growing your offshore outsourcing business in Uzbekistan in any region of Uzbekistan. So the next reason for choosing Uzbekistan by global companies are the talents. 37 million people living in Uzbekistan. 65 of them are under 35 years old. We are young, we are dedicated, we are talented. We are here to help you to grow your business. More information about education will be provided during this event, but I want to highlight one thing. 95% of all youth in Uzbekistan speak at least two languages. It means that our talents are dedicated, multilingual, and always work on themselves. So, the next reason for choosing Uzbekistan as an offshore outsourcing location mentioned by companies is its cost efficiency. Ease of doing business. You may be confident that IT Park will be with you in each stage of establishing of your business in Uzbekistan, starting from incorporation, soft landing, and acceleration of your business. We have programs specially dedicated to support you in every stage. One-stop shop for registering your business, helping with onboarding, recruitment, outsourcing of your accounting and HR services. IT visa program to help to come to Uzbekistan and enjoy the same rights as the citizens of Uzbekistan. Be sure that we are here and we will support you. And also we had one case when we helped to the founder of one company to find kindergarten for his child. So we are here, we're always with you. The next reason to choose Uzbekistan to establish offshore outsourcing office is the cost efficiency. The 0% tax for all corporate taxes, 7% tax for income tax, and only 5% tax for dividends. All of these are available in Uzbekistan. And I'm sure that these conditions are unique in the world. If you have offices abroad, you can compare. But this is not only supporting programs. Also, we have programs of zero risk and other decreasing your risks and costs coverage programs. We offer you the offshore prices for onshore efficiency and quality. The next reason for companies for choosing Uzbekistan is the hospitality and cultural adaptability. Historically, Uzbekistan known for its hospitality. We are not only multilingual, but we multi-religious, multinational population. Everyone who came to Uzbekistan feels this hospitality. You can be sure that you can travel to Uzbekistan together with your family, together with your kids, because the environment of Uzbekistan is friendly, safe, and you will enjoy your stay here. So, today we are here presenting Uzbekistan, and there are a lot of international recognitions that mention Uzbekistan as an emerging destination. And we are here to craft the world's best conditions for offshore outsourcing. Thank you very much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Ms. Muxino, for such a compelling presentation. It's always nice to learn about the opportunities, right? So now, there is something interesting I need to tell you. Most of you might know that there are so many studies that shows a direct correlation between the country's economic growth and the presence of the world-renowned brands like Nike's and Adidas, the companies under Inditex umbrella, KFC's and Domino's. When these companies enter the market, many others follow the bandwagon. Why? This means that there's a market with a great potential. In IT world, EPAM system plays a similar role. But what's interesting, EPAM not only entered the market of Uzbekistan, but they also decided to invest in education by setting up a whole university in partnership with IT Park. Why did they do so? What was behind this decision? What did they see in the youth of Uzbekistan? We'll pose all of these questions to the General Director of IT Park University, Mr. Bahadur Ayupov.
Thank you very much. Umida, thank you very much. Now, when somebody opens an unknown door before you and says, come on in, there's gold in there, you'll probably think twice. But if you have a friend who is bold and risky enough to take that first step in and come out of there with gold in his hands, it's going to be easier for you to follow suit. Folks, my objective here is to reiterate what Makhlio said and encourage you to do business in Uzbekistan from talent's perspective and show you that your friend, a company called EPAM Systems, has already taken that first step for you and found gold, i.e. talents. Now, for those rare ones of you, who are not familiar with this company, EPAM Systems is one of the largest software engineering companies in the world, worth $14 billion, over 60,000 large of a team across more than 50 countries, incorporated and headquartered in New York. The company found under the hood of all the FANG companies and other global companies across many industries, as you can see. Now, the reason why we, back in the days when I was part of the executive team of IT Park, got obsessed with the idea of getting EPAM to expand its operations in Uzbekistan was because this company also happens to be one of the largest IT education companies in the world. So, 20 years of experience. It's been 20 years since EPAM decided to invest in education. So, after lengthy negotiations with us and a thorough market research, executive team of EPAM visited Uzbekistan, and having seen that this is a market with a great potential, not only did it decide to launch its production team in Uzbekistan, but also it decided to turn Uzbekistan blue in this map of its global education programs. It decided to invest in education in Uzbekistan. But the most interesting part of this decision is in the fact that out of all these blue countries, EPAM decided to launch a full-scale university from scratch in Uzbekistan. Now, more than 60% of this 37 million population being constituted by youth is just one of the reasons. But what did it see here? As Makhlio said, political will, a very strong political will to invest in IT, particularly in tech education. Now, back in the days, in the early days of IT Park, this was the early framework used by IT Park, where, as you can see, tech education was one of the highest priorities, because it very rightly realized that unless we have this critical mass of IT specialists in Uzbekistan market, there is no point in discussing development of IT further. So it started effective, humongous projects, one of them being the largest educational program in Central Asia called 1 Million Uzbek Coders, with over 1.2 million young people having gone the courses. It launched, Makhlia touched upon a bit about this, but it launched the largest educational network in the region, if not the world. Now, for your understanding, there are 205 administrative divisions in Uzbekistan. There are over 205 IT centers of IT Park, which means that even in the most remote area of Uzbekistan, local young people have access to all the educational programs of IT Park. So, launching these study centers, incubation centers in many universities, acceleration programs, lots of ideathons, hackathons, launching IT schools. I can talk about this for hours, but not the point. The point is, here's the point. Political will and dedication to the objective of IT capacity building with the results delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, inspired by these achievements, inspired by this increasing number of talents and increasing interest of young people to tech industry, this priority has become, well, it has taken its deserved place in the strategy of Uzbekistan 2030. Now, mind you, the industry already is working on the objective of reaching $5 billion of IT export by 2030. So with that, no surprise there, we're now looking at producing 300,000 IT specialists in Uzbekistan. How do we do this? We do this by engaging youth on all levels of IT, of education system and beyond. Schools, one of the largest projects in progress called Descendants of Al-Khwarizmi. I'm not going to expand to details of this project, but I will be more than happy to provide this to you. Many other projects embracing school kids and attracting them and guiding them to IT. Fun fact, 100% of all the schools in Uzbekistan are linked to internet. Of course, that's a great help in this project. We're going to work with universities. Over 84 universities offering IT programs that produce over 25,000 graduates annually. We will work with and we will stimulate IT educational companies. Over 293 IT educational companies that produce 59,000 graduates annually. Now, talking about stimulus, talking about stimulating. Now, these measures are aimed at enabling. Now, here's one example. For each graduate of IT center who is then employed in an exporting IT company, we pay out $2,000. $2,000 per graduate. Now, our young people and our tech talent bowl started to boil so much that it's spilled over and beyond the borders of Uzbekistan, and our youngsters started to bring victories in international Olympiads. And as a result, the board has decided that, for example, International Olympiad in Informatics, which is one of the prestigious computer science competitions, will take place in Uzbekistan in 2026. Speaking again about enabling measures, the program that compensated 50% of all your expenses to obtain any internationally recognized IT certificate now compensates, as of October 2023, 100% of all your expenses. And the effectiveness speaks for itself. In 2023, we have reimbursed $130,000, and as of today, we have compensated over $300,000. Now, having received a government support in the legislative form, the word freelancer got a very sexy touch to it. Now, everybody seems to be wanting to become a freelancer. A lot of young people found freelancing as a very convenient source of income. Something that was almost non-existent in 2026, we now have over 50,000. Now, back in the days, when we were just starting this IT park as a concept, there was one very serious, significant venture capital company who came to Uzbekistan and started, do you have any startups? Do you have any interest in startups? We had a call out and we gathered about 35 or 40 startups, and they made a pitch. Folks, this was a sheer embarrassment. None of them were interesting. Very cringy concepts, very weak startup ideas. We were very embarrassed. But we did not give up on these poor bastards. A lot of hackathons, a lot of ideathons, a lot of support, a lot of events, over 700 events so far. That all made these startups to believe in themselves. The more they believe in themselves, the better they become. The better they become, the more investments they attract. The more investments they attract, the closer they are pulled to the center of tech industry. And of course, this hype around these startups is gaining its strength. One example is the annual MGolf Awards with prize pool of $100,000. Another example is President's Tech Award with a prize pool of $1 million. Now, that is the trust our startups and tech talents have gained so far. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with all that passion, around our tech talents, producing 300,000 IT specialists is nothing far from possible. So, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, if EPAM caliber company decided to invest in Uzbekistan, to do business in Uzbekistan, and to launch a production office, it means that he found a decent pool of talents to tap into. But if EPAM decided to invest in education and turn Uzbekistan into one of its sources of IT specialists, then you can make your own conclusions about the true potential of talents in Uzbekistan. So doubt not, folks, this is a great spot for hunting. So I want to leave you with that assurance, and with all of my heart, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you great hunting. Thank you.
Now that's a nice introduction of me coming onto the stage, right? Great. So we have seen the beginning and we've heard about the process. But now it's time to take a little step back to reflect and take a bird-eye view on where it's all leading us to. What's the direction of this development? What's the trajectory of everything that we've discussed so far? Everything we have seen and heard so far, including the IT park, is just the beginning. It's the very first step of something much more massive, a high-scale project that promises to change the entire business landscape of not only this country, but the entire region. The project that promises to bring up an official new player to the world stage, Uzbekistan. And this project, ladies and gentlemen, is Enterprise Uzbekistan. The project envisions something really big. A special economic zone with a common law, English law. A regulatory sandbox that gives an opportunity for startups and companies to test their innovative things without any risks. International banking, foreign banks serving their companies here. And of course, modern dispute settlement system with international arbitration, which brings up trust and cooperation with our international partners further. Now, leading this groundbreaking project is Ms. Ruda Makravichute, the partner at EY Uzbekistan, who will guide us today through the transformative potential of this project and explain what does that mean for the entire business community in this region. Please welcome Ms. Ruta Makravichute.
Thank you very much, Umida. After 5 years, 7 years of living in Uzbekistan, I already call myself Lithuanian from Tashkent. Therefore, I can allow to say to all of you, Hush, kele, sis, right? And 7 years ago, it was only an idea floating somewhere in the air, about a regional hub which was supposed to attract a lot of large players from across the world. And this was an idea. And during 7 years, I was very much excited to observe how this idea becomes more and more tangible and materializes. And after 7 years, I am, as a Y partner and our team, we are very honored to be a part of a team which is driving this change and transforms the idea into the reality. So currently, together with a team from IT Park, we are finalizing the design stage of Enterprise Uzbekistan. And what we are doing, we are analyzing and studying leading practices from leading jurisdictions across the world and trying to tailor their experience to Uzbekistan landscape. And to do that, what we are doing, we are engaging numerous stakeholders from Uzbekistan, such as Ministries of ICT, Ministry of Justice, Tax Committee, Customs Committee, Central Bank, many others, including private sector. So by knowing how it's shaping, I am pretty much sure that benefits which will be offered by the Enterprise Uzbekistan will attract numerous global players to Uzbekistan and the dream become a real true. So thank you very much again for taking us to your team, and I wish you and us a fast forward. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen so many remarkable presentations, but nothing really compares to listening to people's real conversations. Live stream, raw, and unfiltered, right? So now, the fireside chat that we have prepared for you right now on the stage will provide you exactly this: the authentic and candid conversations among the leaders who have chosen Uzbekistan as their new business base. And leading this discussion is going to be our young strategist, Mr. Sultan Murat Rasulov, the head of the North American division at IT Park. His native understanding and knowledge of the evolving landscape of Uzbekistan's outsourcing will guide this conversation with our C-level representatives of some global outsourcing companies operating here in Uzbekistan. So let's welcome, with a warm welcome, our moderator, Mr. Sultan Murat Rasulov, and our distinguished panelists. Please. The mics can be turned on with the button over there.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very much happy to see everyone here in our today's fireside chat, which is on the topic of Uzbekistan outsourcing pathways, entry and soft landing experiences. So we're going to cover the different types of questions. And first, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sultan. I work as the head of North American Market Division at IT Park. And today we will be exploring with you the pathways and the opportunities for companies looking to establish their operations in Uzbekistan. So we have two Mr. Asmadi bin Ahmad, the CEO of Gemix Company, and Mr. Michael Asher, the President and the Chief Operations Officer of the American company RFA. Both of these leaders bring together with them the unique perspectives and the insights which will be valuable for anyone looking to further grow their businesses and further expand to the market, which is dynamically growing in with a vibrant economy. So let's dive straight to the discussion. And before that, first, let's make a round of introduction of the dear panelists. Let's start with you, Mr. Asmadi. If you can introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah. Hi, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to His Excellency Minister of... Hello?
Yes.
If you can. Good. Yeah, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Asmadi. I am the CEO and founder of Gems Technologies, and we have the parent company in Singapore, so that's where I come from. Yes.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Michael.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Asher. It's good to be here. When you have a choice, it's always great to be with like-minded people. And I feel we're all here to evolve our business and grow our company, so I'm really honored to be here. RFA is a managed service provider, so we provide technology and we specialize in highly regulated markets, specifically financial firms like private equity firms and hedge funds. And we've been around for about 35 years.
Fantastic, thank you very much. So let me start with Asmadi, with you. So we are talking about government support, about different types of incentives. So if you could, sorry, there's some slight technical issues. So if we're talking about government support, different types of incentives, but it's always great to hear from the side of the people who have already experienced that. So we'd like to ask from Mr. Asmadi if you could elaborate on the government support. What was the role of the government support in your entrance to the market of Uzbekistan? If you can elaborate on that.
Sure, thank you. So let's begin with a bit of a background of why we are here in the first place. So I run a payments services company back in Singapore. So we had always been outsourcing our IT and app development needs to other countries, software houses in other countries. So when I visited Tashkent last May, so I had actually been introduced to the IT park, and I would say that the level of support and also the pro-business policies from the government here is very much a determinant in why we have set up our subsidiary in Uzbekistan instead of any of these countries in Southeast Asia. So as you all know, we are not very near. Singapore and Uzbekistan is quite far. So but we have chosen it here because of the many aspects. Like for example, I can describe like for the corporate tax, the zero corporate tax here being 0% is very helpful towards for us as a startup, as well as the lowered income tax for employees is definitely very helpful for us to attract talents here. Yeah, and among other things, we do have personalized services from the liaison officers from the IT Park of Uzbekistan. Yeah, if I may mention, some of the names, like Ms. Zainab, Ms. Gulnoza have been instrumental in us being able to incorporate our business here. So they have actually assisted us in incorporating our companies, assisting us with the legal as well as the account openings with the banks here. So I think these are the different things.
They were in touch with you 24/7, probably,
yes.
right? So there's a dedicated team.
Yes, if I may say so, sometimes we even make them work throughout the night, not past midnight, of course. Yeah, we have a lot of discussions with them, and really this has been one of the key points which I would say, which as opposed to many other countries, perhaps even Singapore, being a supposedly business-friendly country, you wouldn't find personalized services like this, which we have here in Uzbekistan.
So you come from such an advanced technological country, right? And of course, you had some stereotypes, maybe some understanding before you knew Uzbekistan. And after you started operations in Uzbekistan, what do you think? What were the changes, and is Uzbekistan adaptable for the cutting-edge technologies like that, like the ones that probably they're in Singapore or elsewhere in the developing countries? How advanced is Uzbekistan in your point of view?
I suppose if we are to look at outsourcing destinations in Southeast Asia and South Asia, I mean, we have countries like India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, very close to us. But what I have found to be particularly unique about Uzbekistan is that the English speakers, among the youth, they don't have this local language slang or twang, they call it. So yeah, we are happy to actually be able to, hire and also have our staff from here, on that note. And also on another point, I think the technical ability, right? The IT ability or the IT knowledge ability of the youth here is something to be recommended. Yeah, I'm sold on the 5 million coder thing, and we are currently doing we are in the midst of doing our hiring right now. So if there are good talents around, we definitely want to look at you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So now, Michael, I have a question for you. RFA is the American company that has expanded globally to many markets. I wanted to hear from your perspective, what is the cost advantage in Uzbekistan? Because many companies that choose Uzbekistan come precisely, first of all, for the talents and also for the cost savings, cost advantage. If you could elaborate on what are the unique cost advantage schemes or points?
Sure, it's a great point. So as a business owner, you look at cost perspective over the lifetime of the employee, and it's critical for us to look at the total cost of the acquisition of that talent. So starting a company here is very cost effective. So if we look at the Philippines, so if we look at Singapore, so we opened up in many jurisdictions globally. In terms of cost, startup cost is probably very low in terms of lowest tier that we've seen across the globe. But more importantly for me is looking at talent and the culture of Uzbekistan that promotes folks to stay with you once you hire them, right? That initial cost to onboard as an employee is very high for us. So we deal in highly regulated markets, as I mentioned, so we spend a lot of time training people. One of the key points on the slide previously was high IQ of the nation. And when we look for talent, you rarely find talent that is already ready and able to step into the role that we're looking for because of high degree of specialization that we have. So regardless where we are, we always train our staff. So the fact that we're able to train our staff and that staff remains with us for a long term has been crucial in Uzbekistan. That's not something you see in India. Maybe it's cultural differences. Maybe it's something that is ingrained as employees grow up in India. For a small increase in salary without even negotiations, folks just leave and you don't even see them tomorrow. They just don't show up, right? So that was very surprising for me when we started growing our India office. In terms of pool of candidates that we have here, that's completely different. Employees are very loyal. They stay with you. They want to be part of the culture. They're very proud to be an employee of the company. So that company culture permeates and you can grow your staff. So to me, the total cost of ownership, if you're looking at from the startup cost to then a year or 3 out, that's where you get the additional value. On top of it is the fact that if we look at, we have an outsourcing office in Manila that we started about 10 years ago. The sweet spot for Manila is probably starting to mid-level positions. We have never been able to find anyone who is a senior developer, a senior system architect, and we've been trying for the last 10 years. So the market is very small. Here, the folks can be hired for the lowest level to the highest degree of technical expertise that you require. So that ability to form a company, a location where employees stay with you for a long time and you have that ability to grow a company with a wide range of services, I think overall lowers my total cost of ownership of that business in the country. So for me, I look at Uzbekistan as one of the unique places.
Wonderful. What an impressive overview of the cost benefits. That's great. Thank you so much for that. So in the previous slides, in the previous presentations, it was mentioned about the support that is provided by IT Park Uzbekistan, one of which is one-stop shop program where IT Park Uzbekistan takes all the bureaucracy and all those processes for you to launch your company, to register your company, go into bank account and details and so on. So you've both had this kind of experience. If you could, Asmadi, if you could elaborate on your experience with one-stop shop program, and if you can add anything on top of that, that would be great.
Well, I suppose the one-stop program was sold to us, from the day one. But the reality is that there is definitely someone who will be there for you. Instead of having a chat bot or an AI answering machine to answer to your queries as a foreign investor, you will have someone who you can ask specifically and personally in terms of getting things done. I think this is the most crucial part for us.
How long did it take? How long did it take, the overall procedure of that?
I would say it was not too long. We had like a month, from the point where we were discussing about the setting up the company, and we had, of course, had to look at our own perspective. I mean, our own part of the planning, the pre-planning on the business plan for our subsidiary here. So it's about a month.
So on my end, this is my second go. The first one, I was more of a passive investor in a company that started, and that was a very quick venture. But here, the second round, we're forming a second company here, and we estimate it will take 3 days. So from my perspective, in terms of opening up in the Philippines, I'm opening up in India, this is by far the shortest time. In terms of cost, to open up the office, again, the startup capital required to open up an office is much smaller than Philippines, right? Philippines, I think the projected cost from the government was about 5,000, turned out to be at least 10,000 at the end, right? So those costs balloon and the time is uncertain. Here, again, going back to the original presentation, the government support that ability to push through, where you're not dealing with artificial intelligence, you're dealing with smart human beings that come and talk to you, right? So that's a great benefit.
I'm personally very enthusiastic and happy that the companies like RFA are joining the market of Uzbekistan. But I wanted to understand as well, what is your future perspective? What are the future plans and the future outlook of RFA? And is Uzbekistan suitable to be the key component of your offices for the global growth strategy of your company?
Absolutely. So the fact that Uzbekistan is going through this transformation and redeveloping its judicial system to comply with UK common law and GDPR, I think it's a critical part because if you look at the business community right now, GDPR is playing a big role. UK common law is critical when you're establishing contracts with multiple vendors. We deal with large financial institutions that are regulated. So from my perspective, making an investment into a country that does not have a clear definition of how they treat information would be an impossibility. Because Uzbekistan is taking these steps, this is a long-term investment. It's going to be one of the hubs where we will train our people, as I mentioned, because we're highly regulated. It's very tough for us to hire ready-made talent. So it's going to be one of the hubs where we will train our personnel and grow the company forward. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Great, fantastic. And what about you? What is the long-term growth strategy of your company in Uzbekistan, if you could elaborate?
Sure. I think I would like to say that I agree with Michael with regards to that being the enterprise Uzbekistan is the way to go in terms of bringing the country forward, in the different spheres of the economy. I think for investors to come in, I think it really helps, like for example, for ourselves to actually bring further investments into the country. And for our company, I'm actually very excited with regards to this news, right? In terms of developing this company into a global exporting business. And we see ourselves as one of the, I would say, fastest growing company in terms of hiring. I want to see us being that.
And how many people you have right now at the moment?
Yeah, okay, so we are currently, fresh out of the oven. There are a couple of them here, just in front. Gems Technologies. Okay, so there's a couple of them. So we have already begun our hiring. And I'm happy to say that we are going for maybe not triple-digit numbers, but at least double-digit numbers in the next couple of months.
Great, fantastic. Now it's clear that Uzbekistan has positioned itself as a very compelling outsourcing destination, not only because of the cost advantage, but also about the government support and the incentives that the government of Uzbekistan provides and the institutions like IT Park Uzbekistan. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, Asmadi, for your deep understanding about the global trends and about your insights, about the things that you have shared. But before we wrap up, I wanted to ask our panelists to put on a visionary hat on their heads and try to predict where Uzbekistan would be in the next 5 years. From now, within 5 years, where do you see Uzbekistan? If you could describe it in one sentence, how would you do it?
For those of you, it's easiest to look at blueprints that already exist. So if I can describe it in one word, that would be Luxembourg. If you saw Luxembourg a few years ago before Brexit, it was just a little village where nobody wanted to be because there's no infrastructure. If you see Luxembourg now, all for KPMG and Y, building out magnificent facilities. So it's going to be a hub, a regional hub. And I think the educational system will grow to support the requirements of companies that are coming here. And it will follow suit what India and Philippines executed previously, but I think at a much faster rate, and it will learn from that previous example.
Wonderful. So it was one sentence, but you described it one word, right? So Luxembourg, right? Fantastic. Thank you very much for your insight. Yeah.
So closer to home, I believe that Uzbekistan is, I would say, will be able to achieve in parallel to what Singapore has done. So, and to be a hub, like what Singapore is for the Southeast Asia region and Asia region, Uzbekistan should be seen as a hub of many things: business, finance, also outsourced services, IT, among other things.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, dear panelists. And for our dear guests, I'll leave you with one final question that I wanted you to think about. In a world that is rapidly changing, where would you next position your company in? And could Uzbekistan be the next frontier for your company? If yes, then we would love to welcome you to grow your business with us. Thank you very much all for your attention. Thank you very much, dear panelists.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a fire discussion was it, right? Now, we have seen so many remarkable presentations, both from the public sector representatives and the experts. But now, it's time to hear from a different voice, from those who have experienced Uzbekistan from a business point. Those who will bring a private sector perspective here with the real world example. And we have the privilege of hearing from one of those visionary leaders. Mr. Yuri has dedicated his entire career to identifying emerging markets. He is the regional head at Bipo company. He is someone at Bipo responsible to find out where the future opportunities lie, from Greater China to Pacific to Middle East. Now, something off the book. We were honestly so scared that this agenda is not going to happen. Through the horrible typhoons in China that we're really sorry to hear about, he made it here through his dedication. He made it here through his dedication and effort. His dedication made this happen. He's here to bring his insights to you. So we have the honor to welcome him right from the airport. Please, warm welcome, Mr. Yuri Karp.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mida. Very nice introduction, and thank you everybody for staying all the way through. I know it's been an exciting day, so you must be exhausted with emotions and overwhelmed with information. So I'll start by saying I'm very honored to be here, and I'm also very lucky to be here. As Umida mentioned, yesterday morning I was in Shanghai in the middle of probably the worst typhoon they've seen for the last 100 years. There is scaffolding flying around, cars being smashed by the trees, and I'm thinking, this is not happening. I mean, I cannot fly out, all the flights are cancelled. And I'm feeling awful because I gave my word to IT Park team that I will make it here, and they made it. So I flew to Seoul, spent the night there, and then this morning I flew from Seoul here, landed about 40 minutes ago. All I have on me is my passport and the phone. The rest of the luggage is still at the airport. But I made it, so I'm very happy to make it happen. But the reality is it wouldn't be possible without the support of IT Park team. So once again, please put your hand together for the amazing efforts of Uzbekistan IT Park. You guys are legends, for sure. I was asked to present on our success story, so I'll try to keep it short and entertaining. I know you've listened to quite a lot of information. Bear with me, I'm gonna make it work. Very quickly, so for the last 9 years I spent my life and I've been working in Asia, based in Shanghai. I started my career in executive search, so when Michael and Ahmadi spoke about talents, it was very interesting for me to understand the total cost perspective, the overall talents, and again, hunting for the best people, making sure they stay with the business as long as possible. I've been working with Bipo for the last 3 years, and our company's main business is about making life easier for our clients when it comes to the international expansion, going overseas, expanding their businesses and employing and paying their people. So we've been on the market for, I think, about 15 years, more than that. We've focused mainly on 3 lines of services. There we go. So we provide complex HR software for digitalization for the clients that are big enough to invest in a certain software. We also focus on global services, particularly global payroll. Global payroll. There we go, now it's better. Global payroll outsourcing and global employment outsourcing. So it was very interesting for me to listen to the previous speakers about the trends in that area and the reasons why they chose Uzbekistan as the core location, as well as Makliyo and Bahadir's presentation about the talents and again, attractiveness of Uzbekistan as a region. Without spending too much time on our services, here's how our business looks like globally. This is our footprint. Our headquarters is in Singapore, so very nice to see another Singaporean company being present in Uzbekistan. With HQ in Singapore, as you can see, most of the countries in Southeast Asia having the blue dot, that means we have our own location there. And the red dots on the map represent our global partners. So those are the countries where we seek help from third-party companies to provide services to our clients. And as of last month, I'm extremely happy to see Uzbekistan having a blue dot there because we've opened a company in Uzbekistan. So I would urge you to do the same. In terms of There you go. In terms of the customers that we serve, we virtually provide our solutions and technology to any industry because the challenges that we help them to tackle, they are common for any types of businesses. Obviously, starting from tech and e-commerce, all the way to financial services, banking, logistics, industrial sector, healthcare, life science. Whenever there is a company that is going overseas, they're going to have some challenges and some problems. And we made our business of solving those challenges and those problems. Just to focus a little bit more on the main topic I was asked to present is why Central Asia, why specifically Uzbekistan. Let me go ahead and talk you through the key points that we were looking at when we were deciding to position our business in Central Asia, specifically in this place, in this country. So when we look at the region in general, when I came to the company, first thing I did, first of all, I established a network of partners because we already have several clients that were requiring services across Central Asia. And I just found our partnership network, first of all, so that we can provide them with necessary services around payroll outsourcing and employment outsourcing. When we look at any country and we think about localizing our office there, we obviously need to consider some business factors as well as economic factors before we make this decision. As many other companies would do, they'll do a thorough research. Here are some of the elements that we were considering when we were looking at Central Asia as a region and Uzbekistan as a highlight of this region. And I think Mahlio already mentioned it several times, but I'm going to just re-highlight it from our perspective. We can't ignore the growing population because regardless of which line of business you're in, you're going to need some good talents, and you'd better find them in the region that invests a lot in education and has a young population that is able to learn new skills. So on top of that, obviously increased FDI and good foreign trade turnover, always a healthy sign of a good economy. If you remember the map and if you're familiar with the map of Central Asia, you would realize that there are certain geographical challenges. Some countries in this region are landlocked and double landlocked. That means you cannot travel here by sea and you cannot ship stuff here or from here. Some countries would see this as a limitation, as a roadblock. Other countries turned this into an immense opportunity, and they invested a lot in the infrastructure of logistical services and road routes. On top of that, obviously, a lot of investment in the new technology since 1919, since the collapse of the former Soviet Union. There's been massive investment flow to the IT, services and the industrial sector. As obviously focused on the sustainable clean energy, natural resources preservation, everything else. A couple of last points that we were also looking at and that we hear from our clients is the importance of the growth in the overall wealth of the population, which is indicated by the growth of hospitality and private banking. So important element of the consumer economy being on the rise, which is the opposite of what we see in many other markets right now. And last but not least, diversified economic and political ties, because God knows this planet doesn't need another hotspot. What we need is a good place to do business amicably and in a civilized manner. So when we talk to our clients, when I ask them, what's your plans for the international expansion? Where do you see the opportunities? Where do you want to go? They mainly focus on four main areas. First question is, how easy can we localize the presence in this country? How is it possible for us to get the best talents and again, recruit the best people? So again, another point for Michael's previous presentation. How easy is it to fast scale from here? Sorry, my bad. How easy is it to scale up the business from here? And can we use this local office in that new country as a regional or global hub? Because obviously companies are thinking about the cost. They don't want to invest in 5 new offices. They'd rather have one, but really strong one with the global presence. And that brings us exactly to the point, why Uzbekistan? Because if you look across all the previous metrics, we did it. I mean, I was doing it when I was pitching the idea to our CEO that we need to open an office in Uzbekistan. We were looking at all those metrics before, and Uzbekistan comes up as the #1 contender in the entire region. As already been said, amazing young talents, young and growing population, rapidly not aging, but on the other hand, getting younger, unlike China, for example. The ability to find the right people. There is a lot of investment in education and IT specifically. On top of that, obviously, amazing preferential policies. The government has given every single tool virtually to the business owners to make their lending and kick-off of their business in Uzbekistan as smooth as possible. International markets, and the fact that Uzbekistan is at the middle of the Silk Road, that means it has centuries of traditions of doing the business, negotiating, finding the middle ground, while keeping good, friendly relationship with the neighbors, which is very important for the stability of the business, for sure. So let me talk about what's in the future, because again, I think I've highlighted all the elements that I could about why we chose Uzbekistan. Let me give you some insights what we want in the future. I personally want to grow our business here as a next regional hub that we will be able to cover not just Central Asia region, but also other countries outside of it. We already have 4 R&D centers globally, obviously in our HQ in Singapore, but also in China, Malaysia, and Indonesia. I want to localize a data center in Uzbekistan to make sure we can provide our software, not just the services. Services-wise, I want obviously to see us providing full scope end-to-end HR solutions to our clients, starting from how to employ people, how to pay them. I think Bahadur mentioned the sexy word, freelancer and contractor. We also have a solution focusing on freelancer payments. All those small technical details will enable lots of businesses to thrive in Uzbekistan and globally, for sure. And headcount-wise, by most conservative rates, I think we'll get to, 100 people at least by the end of 2025. So yeah, I see no limitations for us in doing this. As I mentioned, our business is all about making life easy for our clients. Let me give you a quick story how easy it was with IT Park so far. So about a month and a half ago, I was in Eastern China, in Suzhou, at the event organized by IT Park. And I went there by accident pretty much because I knew very little about IT Park, but I was interested in Uzbekistan because I was making my research and I was looking for additional points to select this as our next location. Met with IT Park people. The next day I was pitching the idea to our CEO saying, it's almost too good to be true, but I double checked the numbers, it all checks out. They really have all those tax policies and whatnot. 2 weeks after that, we collected all the necessary documents as a company. I was in Tashkent in end of July. I wasn't presenting back then, but I was mainly investigating, meeting people, asking questions, and just trying to make sure I understand it correctly. A month later, I'm standing here, our company's registered. I'm interviewing several people today and tomorrow and on Thursday. And it's all possible within like a course of a month. And that's our problem because Uzbekistan IT Park told us it can be done within days. We just took long enough time to get all the necessary information because we are a rather complex structure globally, so we wanted to make sure everything checks out. I dare you to name me another country in the world where this is possible within such a short time. And yeah, making life easier is our business, but I assure you that Uzbekistan gives you all the access to the fast growth of your business here. All you need to do is just go for it. So sky's the limit. You guys give it a try. That's all from my side. There you go. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Now you're going to hear me in full sentences. So, there is something to reflect on. As we come close to the ending, there is something to reflect. There are always dreamers and doers. But sometimes, rarely, once in a while, there's someone who's both. The man that you're about to welcome right now to the stage is that dreamer and the doer. He dreamed of Uzbekistan to be the country that stands tall among the world's most advanced tech hubs. The country with a digital excellence. And now, with a tireless effort, he's making it happen. Now, Uzbekistan, with its IT park, is the prime example of what a future can hold. Now, to the stage, I'm supposed to call him with his title, the CEO, but he doesn't like it. Instead, he called himself a team lead, always pushing his people forward to enjoy the first raw and the spotlight, while he himself wants to remain at the background. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very own team lead, the CEO of IT Park Uzbekistan, Mr. Farhod Ibragimov.
Hamida, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm proud of my team. Big applause all for my team, please. One more time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It was nice. Thank you very much for all the previous speakers. I appreciate for the such nice introduction, true introduction of Uzbekistan. This is very important. When I watched the presentation of Mahlio, I saw the incentives and different schemes. And I remember myself, when we started this project, when nobody trusts Uzbekistan, the president trusts. The president say it should be this kind of incentives, but it was on the tax. And tax is not so attractive as now you see. And you know what we did? We were stable and predictable for the all companies. Can you imagine only 2 companies, foreign companies we have 2017. Now we have almost 600 and 300 of them only coming from this year. This is important. This is important. This is because of we are always getting the feedback from our resident companies. Only with them we can achieve the good result. Only with them the president see that. That's possible. Let's give them more power, more authority. This is only the company in Uzbekistan which is providing the visa. None of the government organization, excluding the Minister of Foreign Affairs, can provide that. This is the big trust of the government and the president, first of all. And then that's possible to achieve all the big results. You see, probably, this is quite attractive. This is attractive conditions, but we know that we can make it better. We know how to make it better. We know how you can feel yourself as in Dublin or the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, or by tax perspectives, you can feel yourself comfortable as in Dubai. We can combine it and additionally add hard working of Uzbek people, flexibility of Uzbek people. This is unique combination where you can find anywhere in the world. I hope you enjoy your business and we will do our best. We will be the concierge of your business in Uzbekistan. Thank you very much one more time. I hope you can meet at the good companies. You can make the good outsourcing, outstaffing, or the merger or acquisition. We prepared for that and we are ready to start your business with you and support with you. Thank you very much one more time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibragimov. What a beautiful ending, right? So, as we close this session, I would like to say that we will have to keep something in mind. We'll have to reflect on the connections, the partnerships, and the collaborations that we have gathered today. It's more than just a session. It's more than just a conference. It's the opportunity to transform things together, to work together, to find the possibilities to build the future together. And the journey doesn't end here. We're organizing the site visits tomorrow, which will bring the vision beyond the conference halls and beyond the meeting rooms. So please join us tomorrow to feel the Uzbekistan real-time firsthand, to visit the companies that are operating here, to see those talents that are doing it, to touch that infrastructure. So please stay tuned and thank you so much. Thank you and welcome to Uzbekistan.